There's no doubt that everything feels better when you're surrounded by your boys, when you've got your friends, when you can do fun stuff, go places, and make absolutely killer memories. But there's a brutal truth I need to tell you. I need you to wake up to the fact that, unfortunately, if you're on self-improvement, if you're trying to improve yourself as a young guy, trying to level up his skills, trying to level up every fundamental aspect of his life, you're going to have to leave them behind, and you're going to be lonely. And I want to teach you how to do this and why this will actually occur to you. And sadly enough, it is actually fundamental to make the change in your life where you leave these guys behind, you leave your OG boys behind, and it can feel like shit, but the first reason why you have to leave them behind is because, honestly, they start to resent you when you start making progress. See, I remember when I first started the gym and I first got into fitness and I first started getting into a general rhythm of self-improvement, and honestly, my friends kind of doubted me. They kind of upped me at the start, but they also kind of doubted me because they kind of wanted me to remain with them, remain as them. And I started getting muscle, and I started, making some progress in life and not be as much of a loser like what we all were together. That's the brutal fact. We were all losers together, and I started leveling up, and they kind of started to resent me a little bit and kind of think I was a bit weird. But the thing is, I didn't really think anything of this because, they were my boys, they were my friends. I grew up with them from primary school. I've been with them for 10 years. And, okay, maybe they feel a bit bad about me improving. They're not used to this. They're not used to this new version of me that I was trying to create in myself. And while this is good, while you may get some jokes and they may kind of tease you and meme on you for starting the gym, or they'll think that the gym is gay, or they think that reading books is gay, or doing self-improvement habits is kind of cringe, you get past this, you get past it. But at some point, the harsh truth of it is you kind of start to get embarrassed by being around them. See, once I started improving my fitness, once I started leveling up in real life, the friends I had, the guys that were doing these goofy, weird habits that, I related to so much for years and years and years, like making weird noises and shit and like fucking yelling out random stuff in the middle of school and just being a weirdo, right? You kind of start to feel this gap bridging, like this gap expanding between you and them, and you don't feel like you can relate to them as much anymore. And this is painful because you're in a stage where you're at your fundamental, your key area of social life, like school or work, or, in those teenage, young 20-year-old years, and you want to fit in, but you're simultaneously kind of embarrassed by fitting in with these type of people at the same time. Unfortunately, that just means that your growth at this point kind of gets stunted. And I can explain this through like a theory of, think of a rubber band. Imagine you have two ends of a rubber band, you're holding each side, right? And pretend this side is you, and you're trying to actually level up. And you're, improving, stretching the rubber band and getting further and further away from, your boys, because they're not really improving, they're just being the same old normal self. Now, eventually, these kind of guys, the only way they can, bridge the gap to you is if they follow suit and they improve as well. But they're not. They're going to stay here. And they're creating so much extra tension. Now you imagine if you pull a rubber band, the more, if you hold one side firm and you pull this side, it's going to become more and more tense and more tense. And if you actually look at the rubber band, it's thinning out and it's becoming weaker and weaker and weaker. And this kind of symbolizes your strength of friendship and your strength of relativity and how you can actually relate to them and, get along with them now. And the thing is, you will try and always snap back. Imagine we let go of this band. We snap back because we're snapping back because we want to fit in. We're snapping back because we want to be like these guys. We're kind of thinking like, hey, fucking come on, boys, like, follow me, follow my rubber band. But the fact is, they probably never will. So you have to get to a point where, honestly, you just have to snap the rubber band. You just have to pull and pull and pull and pull and pull and finally snap your end. And that's where you get that massive trajectory, because you're no longer connected to this old version, this old, nuance, this old habits that were so familiar with you and your boys. Now, honestly, this is pretty brutal because they're your fucking boys. Like, they will always be your boys. But the fact is, they're not going to be able to level up with you on this path. And this rubber band effect can kind of happen in two ways. It's where you slowly kind of distance yourself. That's kind of what I did. I slowly improved and tried to, wean my way out of these things and started saying no more and not showing up as much and not putting as much effort in, which is kind of sad. Or you can go the route of moving locations and completely eliminating yourself from the scene in general. Then it's kind of easier to break off with these friends, and that's what I did more of when I moved away to university, when I moved away to try and improve my life. I naturally noticed I wasn't as close with my friends anymore because I truly snapped this rubber band. And reality is that the habits and the things that we enjoyed so much together, they weren't relatable anymore. Now you're going to be thinking, well, okay, if I snap this rubber band, surely there's a way. Surely there's some of my boys. Surely there's one of my guys, one of my best mates that I want on this journey with me. How can I get him to follow this rubber band? How can I get him to expand his as well so we can remain closer together so the rubber band doesn't get so weak? How can I influence them? I've seen the light of self-improvement and I'm improving myself. It's so good. The benefits are crazy. Now I want to get my boys on the same path. You've seen the light, but the painful part you're going to have to accept is that you will not be able to improve them or take them on this journey as well, because you've probably heard this saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't force it to drink. And take it from me, I have had multiple friends, multiple guys that I wanted to bring on this journey with me, who I knew had this untapped kind of potential and desire within them, but the problem is they weren't just able to act. I was trying to get them in the gym, I was trying to get them to eat consistently, I was trying to get them to do all these positive things, to start being more social and break out of their comfort zone. But the fact is, they didn't want to. They just didn't want to. And you're going to be thinking now that there has to be one guy, one dude that you can change. I know the specific guy in my head. Who is it for you? You might be thinking he can actually change. This guy is like the guy you want to be bros with and you want to level up forever. Well, if he doesn't have the internal desire to level up, then unfortunately he never will. And it's even the most high potential guys that you think can level up and be so great that unfortunately will never realize their potential and will probably never join you on this journey. Because like I said, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't force it to drink. And the only way you can force it to drink, the only way someone can influence themselves, their own mind, to make change is through pain. See, I went through pain. I was a skinny loser. I had no confidence and I wanted to change my life. And it was through that pain that I did exactly that. And look, if you want to actually know how to do this for yourself, then check the link in the description. You'll find the exact roadmap to this. So the only way you'll be able to change is through straight pain and literally hating yourself to the point of wanting to improve. And if you don't get this, like what your guys probably don't have, they're probably in the comfort zone. They probably don't care. They probably think all of it's cringe, but they will eventually care when they're in such pain that they have to level up. But the shit thing is, when they make this decision and when they start wanting to level up, you're already so far ahead that you still can't relate to them. The rubber band is still too far away to relate to them. It's still snapped. So that kind of just means that for some time you're going to be lonely on this path. Because right now it's like being on a video game where you're in between stages of leveling up. You have to do the tasks right now, the shitty tasks alone by yourself before you can access the higher levels. You're kind of in this transitionary period where you don't relate to the guys, your friends, your old boys, the OGs. You don't relate to them anymore and you feel embarrassed to fit in with them. But you crave social connection, so you want to fit in and you want to rebound and go back to their habits and do the things that they want to do that you know aren't really good for you. But you do want to be better. But you're not at that stage yet. You're not at the stage where guys who are better and guys who are improving themselves would truly want to be friends with you, because you're still in the early stages of leveling up. You're in this awkward middle zone. You don't have the results to unlock that final or that next level, that next character, that next community. So what do? Well, I wish there was a cute, super duper fun hack to teach you with this, but The thing is, you're just going to have to embrace it. There's no real sugarcoating this part of male self-improvement. There's a time where you can't relate to your friends. You have to be alone. You can't force yourself back into your old friends' lives because you don't relate to them anymore and your growth will be stunted. And you can't force yourself into other people's lives just for the sake of social connection because you will feel lonely. The truth of it is you just have to fucking grind it out. And you might have to grind it out for some time. You might have to keep hustling, keep grinding, keep working and working, keep leveling yourself up until you actually are able to attract better friends and meet people organically, not through this artificial means of trying to force yourself and morph yourself and adapt yourself into what other people like. It seems like you're going to hate yourself, but you will find your true mission, your true purpose when you go through this phase. You will find the most interpersonal growth because you will learn what you actually need and what you actually want. So don't be afraid of it. If there's one piece of advice I would give you, it's to actually embrace this lonely period. Because when you have no noise from other people, when you can just focus and really unlock your own mind and figure out what you truly want, you'll be able to level up 10 times faster. Then once you find guys that are on the same path, that growth will go to 100 times. So you're still going to grow, but you just have to understand that it won't be the most social, but you just have to thug it out. Remember, check the link in the description if you want help on how to transform your life forever. Progress is purpose, even if it means you have to be alone for a bit.